God save the Queen? Question mark, hindi exclamation mark. History, however, will not save the Queen. Kasi po, ang kasaysayan po ng imperialismo ng Britanya na kinakatawan ng royal family, ng monarchy po ng Britanya, ay malinaw na malinaw po. It is an oppressor monarchy. It is a very, very cruel monarchy. And mga bansang nasakop po, mga bayang mga nasakop ng Britanya ay naglalabas po ng kanilang sama ng loob dito sa Great Britain during its 500 years of reign as the top colonial power in the world. From India, sabi nitong si Ashok Kumar from India, just a reminder that when the British arrived in 1700s, India had 20% of the global GDP. But after 200 years of theft and millions starved to death, by 1947, India had 3% of the global GDP, 90% living below the poverty line, a literacy rate of 17%, and life expectancy of only 27 years old. Ganyan po ang iksi ng buhay sa India noong panahon ng kolonyalismo ng Britanya. And in fact, one of the very popular personalities kaagad is really very interesting. Si Anthony Bourdain, the gourmet na may TV show na very popular. In one occasion, sa isang dinner with the Queen, hindi po siya nag-toast nung nag-offer ng toast ang audience sa Queen of England. And itong artikulo ni Samantha Maxwell, very recently, September 9, 2022, reminds all of us why we should all be like Anthony Bourdain, refusing to toast the Queen. While the Queen, Samantha Maxwell says, may have obscured some of Britain's atrocities during her reign, very little was done to obscure the massive wealth the family holds. According to British Heritage, the royal family received £102.4 million from the British taxpayer from 2021 to 2022. This is all while an estimated 1 in 7 adults in the UK faces food insecurity. And ang tanong, saan ba nanggaling ang yaman po ng royal family of Britain? Well, before that, in relation to the Philippines, the British also captured Manila, in 1762, in the imperialist wars of the different imperialist powers. But the British royal family's wealth came from the looting of many societies, many countries, many nations. Sabi nga ni Dan Hicks sa The Guardian, the royal family has a history of acquiring looted objects, so its exemption from a law protecting cultural heritage raises questions. Ito po, dito sa larawan na a golden tiger's head with rock crystal eyes and teeth wrenched from the throne of Tipu Sultan of Mysore during the storming of Seringapatam in 1799. Yan po ay galing sa ating ASEAN country na Indonesia. So, sa China naman po, itong report ng The Diplomat. British loot and China's Belt and Road. Mahabang artikulo po ito. But in particular, the part of this article that is important for us to discuss is the looting of China also. Of course, we all know the Opium War na nilunsad ng Britanya, dalawang Opium Wars, first and second. But a particular instance po na even today, the Chinese government and the Chinese people are preserving in memory of the imperialism and oppression of the British Empire. Ito pong looting of the Beijing Summer Palace. Meron po ditong short quotation na kinuha ko. Peking 1860 refers to the end of the Second Opium War, which was decided very much in favor of English and French forces of the day. And the Chinese defeat in the looting and burning of the Summer Palace outside of Beijing and culminated in total capitulation by the beleaguered Qing court to Western demands, to Western demands for trading rights and ports. Indeed, it can be argued that this event and Britain's overall complex relationship with China has had more influence on China's disillusionment with the Western powers than any other single nation. Ayan po, just a very, very brief history. We have a lot more time to discuss this and dissect this, Ado.
Well, I encountered a list of countries that were not touched or colonized by Great Britain, and I was surprised that number one, there were less than 20 countries in the world that were not touched by the British Empire.
Out of 193 or 94
Yes,
members of
out
the
of-
United Nations
yeah.
today.
At pangalawa, wala doon ang Pilipinas kasi nga sabi ni Mentong, 3 buwan, more or less, na we were put also under the British rule because of the
Yun
English, Spanish.
bunga ng 7 years war.
Yeah, 7 years war, no? Pero nabalik tayo sa Spain.
Spanya.
Ano kaya ang ating naging kapalaran kung hindi nangyari yun? That is, of course, a rhetorical question. Pero of late, Mentong, the most important thing is yung gripe ng India na sinabi mo kanina sa yung pahayag, ay mukhang naiganti na ng India. Dahil ang India po ngayon, naunahan na ang economy ng Great Britain. Great Britain slid to number 6. India's economy went up to number 5. And big jump po yun sa India, no? And these are the things that will reassure us that there are many changes happening in the world today and that we should be sensitive towards projecting towards the future, which is my way of perhaps leading to the next topic. But I'll return it to your comment,
Yes.
because you still have time.
Yeah, and so ito po ay leksyon para sa ating mga kababayan na medyo may colonial mentality po. No? Nagbabago na po ang mundo. And very important po yung pagbanggit ngayon ni Kaado nung sa size ng economy po nalampasan na ng India ang Britanya. At ang Britanya, bababa pa rin ang ekonomiya niya in the years to come while India will continue to grow. And given yung sitwasyon ngayon sa Western Europe with Germany suffering the worst winter of their lives, of their past 50 years maybe, and their economy being battered by the Russian sanctions on them in return for their sanctions on Russia in energy. We are going to see Germany's economy decline in the years to come. And it is, of course, being bruited about that Germany will not recover for the next 5 years. So baka bumaba at malampasan din ng isang Asian country, itong Germany. Of course, ang Japan slid from second spot to third spot, from second spot to third spot, and the U.S. from the largest economy in the world to number 2, with China now the largest economy in the world. So Asia is certainly rising, Kado. So God save the Queen. Well, the British have a very nice pageantry sa funeral ni Queen Elizabeth, but the world is not rejoicing and celebrating in the same manner. So, end of the imperial age na po, Kaado, what do you think?
Well, as I was saying, it's now God save the king. But are we affected by that with the decline that Great Britain and the United Kingdom, if you may, is now facing?
Mabuti nga, you brought up King Charles now, no?
Yeah.
I don't know, may coronation na ba? Nag-aanda
Meron
sila.
na, meron
Tapos
na.
na ba coronation? May
Meron na. Nagkaroon na ng coronation. And in fact, very timely ang appointment ni Teddy Boy Locsin bilang ambassador natin sa kanyang pinakamamahal na Western country, which is Great Britain. Alam niyo po, si Teddy Boy Locsin ay sa kanyang mga ginawa dito sa atin, ay hindi naman talagang pang Pilipino yan, kundi pang banyagang bansa yan. Kaya maybe he is in the right place right now.
Yeah. And itong mga may colonial mentality na mga politiko sa ating bansa tulad ni Teddy Boy Locsin, Del Rosario, and so on, ito po ang humaharang po sa ating development at sa ating pagpapanatili ng kapayapaan sa rehiyon po natin sa pamamagitan ng kapayapaan sa mga lahat ng mga bansa, including peace with China. Sinisira po nila yan. So let us keep that in mind as we move on to discuss our Philippine issues after this break.